The character of Venom in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a character that never really lived up to what I and many other fans were expecting from the Lethal Protector's gaming debut. Many people felt his character was rushed, poorly developed, and failed to meet even the most basic and essential requirements to what makes the character so beloved and iconic for so many. However, the one brief exception to this entire problem was in the level Don't Be Scared, where we were all delightfully presented with a bite-sized dream to what a Venom game could possibly look like. This level is my favourite in the entire game, because not only does Venom play and handle completely differently compared to Miles and Peter, but he feels way more fun and enjoyable, which has led me to replaying the level over and over again for dozens of times in a row. After all the Insomniac leaks, Tony Todd's missing voice lines, and countless hints and teasers from the development team, it's pretty safe to say that a potential Venom game might not be too far out the realms of possibilities. So what could this game possibly look like? Well, in my opinion, there's three main factors we have to consider when discussing Venom, and that's A, how he'll come back after Spider-Man 2, B, who the main villain is gonna be, and C, where this game is gonna take place. Now, to tackle the plot of this potential game and what we can expect from it. At the end of Spider-Man 2, Harry sacrifices himself so Peter can destroy Venom and save New York from the symbiote invasion. In this Marvel's Venom game, I believe a remnant of the symbiote will stay within Harry and bury its way into his subconscious. During his coma at the end of Spider-Man 2, the symbiote can explore Harry's mind and build a further understanding and knowledge about his goals, motivations, and who he is as a person. Harry will probably be in this coma for a couple of weeks until he finally recovers and is subjected to the G serum, where the last remnant of the symbiote is amplified by the Goblin formula, reviving Venom back to a weaker but functional state. There's a few reasons why this would happen, and that's because the very first time we see Venom, he's in this green tank that stabilizes and keeps the symbiote alive and healthy. My second reason is I honestly have no idea of how they can make Venom return in a way that's convincing or appropriate for this game's story. If Harry is in a coma, it gives the symbiote time to develop and appreciate the concept of humanity, creating a redemption arc that Venom can go through during this game's entire story. When the symbiote is revived, I believe Harry will have a complete nervous breakdown, causing him to break out of the Osborn Tower once again. This would be a fun nod to when we first played as Venom in Spider-Man 2, however the difference here is Harry is in complete control. Harry speaks through the symbiote and we hear Venom's voice in our head, apologizing and reminding us who we are and what we did, considering Harry wasn't conscious through most of the last game's finale. When Harry escapes, I think it would be absolutely amazing if we maybe got a Venom and Miles boss fight where they fight across the entire city. The reason I think this would be such an amazing idea is because it perfectly continues that tradition of opening a Spider-Man game with a badass boss fight, and it would also make sense because we're fighting someone who's on our power level. The fight could end with Miles maybe realizing that Harry is in control and not the symbiote, creating the foundations of a team-up and an alliance. From this point onward, there could be a lot of drama and stakes in this story where we get to explore the redemption and reformed arc from the villain's perspective. Because the city hates Venom after Spider-Man 2, police shoot on sight, people run away in fear, and nobody understands or sees the man who's in control of the monster. They only see the monster in control of the man that can destroy their entire city in a fraction of a millisecond. After the first couple of missions, I believe we're going to see a Miles and Harry team up, where they work together and attempt to stop the Flame Cult and its leader Cletus Cassidy, also known as Carnage. Carnage seems like such an obvious choice for this game's villain because Venom will probably have some rivalry and resentment towards Carnage because he represents everything he used to be in a more amplified and sinister way. This will create a lot of dramatic moments and friction between Harry and Venom, where Harry wants to deal with Cletus in a heroic way and give him the opportunity for redemption like he had. However, Venom believes Carnage is too dangerous and knows he can't be saved from past experience and interactions. Throughout the entire game, we build up Carnage as a threat, showing him to be the most sinister and dangerous foe Peter or Miles have ever faced. As the campaign progresses, he becomes more cold, more ruthless, and perhaps could even cause the death of Rio or a close love interest to Harry, which will result in a final act where Cletus has his own symbiote invasion, which is 10 times worse than Venom's in almost every single way. Civilians are killed, Peter comes back as Spider-Man, and everything seems and feels absolutely hopeless, which will result in a final boss where Miles and Peter are restrained by Carnage's tendrils, as they helplessly watch Venom and Carnage fight in a bloody brawl to the death. At the end of the fight, Harry looks down to a bloodied Cletus Cassidy, too weak to muster the strength of Carnage and completely vulnerable to whatever Venom decides to do with him. The end of the story could give us a choice, where we could either murder Cletus Cassidy and maintain a reputation as a monster and demon, or spare him, locking away Carnage in a container and sending Cletus to the raft, redeeming our reputation as a hero in the eyes of New York's people. That's pretty much my basic gist of how I would like this kind of story to play out. However, let me know what your theories and ideas are, because I'm extremely curious. My ideas for combat are actually kind of a little crazy, but if we get this, I'm gonna lose it. And that's essentially, we have almost a Goblin and Venom hybrid of the combat system, meaning Harry can transform in and out of the Venom symbiote, where Harry can beat up, use gadgets and other tools, and ride bicycles, whereas Venom will be stronger, faster, and develop more of a conscience and personality through the side effects of the G-Serum. And maybe give him some goblin venomized attacks, that'd be kinda cool as well. If they went this route, they could get really creative with the abilities here and give us a combat system we've never seen before, which would be really fitting considering the past 3 games have been a little samey when it comes to the combat systems. And the side missions could also be really cool. We could have some time trials through a Taskmaster type villain, I couldn't really tell you one off the top of my head. We could have some Carnage symbiote nests, perhaps some stuff with Morbius or Hydro Man as our main villains and side missions. And for our more casual and shorter missions, we could have Venom talking to reformed villains and civilians, learning more about what it means to be a hero and why people become villains. Now, are there some plot holes in my story predictions or some ideas that may seem really far-fetched? Yes, absolutely. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. However, these theories are simply what I would do if I were the main writer at Insomniac. I'd want Venom to go through a redemption arc and give the player the choice of whether they wanted him to be a hero or an anti-hero by the end of the story. I think this makes so much sense considering the last game's main theme was the concept of being reformed. And having the main villain of the last game go through a redemption arc in this game's story makes complete sense. I'd really like to see Venom and Harry's abilities go much further than the symbiote and incorporate some entirely original G-Serum ideas into the gameplay. And most importantly of all, I want a cutscene where Harry and Venom eat pizza on a Manhattan rooftop. I want to see Venom swing through New York City while switching to Harry's Goblin Glider. I know that one's really far-fetched specifically, but that would be really fucking awesome. There's so many awesome possibilities for this title, and I simply can't wait to see where it goes, if it does exist. But my god, if it does, this game has the potential to have some of the most interesting story and gameplay in the entire Insomniac Spider-Man series. But anyways, what do you guys want to see in a potential Marvel's Venom? Are you excited? Are my ideas really far-fetched, or do you guys have some of the same theories and speculations? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and also have a wonderful day. Take care!